the kinds of technology-driven growth companies that have become the backbone of Silicon Valley Bank are demanding clients, and they're clients that move really as fast as any kinds of companies do in the world, requiring decisions, not wanting to have to go through a lot of red tape. How do you manage all that, manage the demands of these very fast-moving, demanding clients, but making sure that you're always in compliance?
Yeah, I think that the focus of the organization on client service generally means that whatever happens to fulfill compliance or to check the right boxes, you try to do in a way that's not really very visible to the client. And so we have this layer of client service delivery at the bank, which is the interface. Obviously there's the online channel, but from a people perspective is the interface to our clients. And we try as much as possible to organize operationally to make sure that, you know, all the things that we do behind the scenes, we do, you know, in a most client-centric way.
Well, let's talk about how you decide how much and when and where to invest in IT, because you have the burden of being surrounded by really financially astute C-level colleagues by the virtue that you're in a bank.
That's right.
So how do you hash these things out?
Yeah, so first of all, probably like any company, we're very creative and we have lots of ideas, and far more ideas than we probably have investment dollars, but we have generous investment dollars. And so it really starts with understanding the bank's strategy and making sure that the initiatives that we fund are aligned with that strategy, but we also are always making sure there's dollars allocated to risk and compliance and regulatory concerns, and those really come first. We have 3 committees at the bank. There's an Enterprise Infrastructure Committee that I chair. There's a Product Development Committee, and Phil plays a critical role on that committee as well. And we have a Banking Operations Committee. And there's representation on all 3 committees from key business leaders across the bank, as well as IT. And together, the charter of these committees are to make, you know, decisions about priorities, key strategic investments, and really to provide the oversight and governance on a go-forward basis as initiatives are launched. We learn more about, you know, what the outcomes are going to be, or they run into trouble, something might be escalated, might need more funding. And they tend to meet once a month, I'd say. And Phil actually flies out from the UK to participate most of the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, which leads to the question of communications, and how does a globally dispersed company like Silicon Valley Bank really have this kind of uniform communication so that all the managers in all parts of the world know what the goals are, know what the key issues are at any given time? Describe, I was led by your TV studio, which I thought was fascinating, but that's just one facet of how you communicate internally. Talk about that and the role that IT plays in communications.
So we have invested in technology to make sure, because we are a virtual organization, we have 30+ offices around the globe, and we want to make sure people stay connected, and such an important ingredient in our culture are those relationships. So we have, you know, video technology, all of us on our desktop, on our phones. We do have the studio. And our internal portal is a really important place that people go to learn what's up at the bank. A lot of our client events are videotaped as well. We do interviews with CEOs of different startups. Our CEO, Greg Beckers, puts a lot of personal time into communication. Every Monday morning we have what we call the Monday morning meeting, and really, if you go and visit some of the offices around the world, everyone rallies together to watch that meeting. It tends to be 15-20 minutes each Monday, and that's a perfect place to share key updates. And then all of us take advantage of that technology to have all hands meetings. There's a quarterly town hall that the CEO hosts. So there's just numerous ways that we try to stay connected as a company and make sure all kinds of folks get to participate. It's not just top down.
And how do you keep track not only of what's going on in the UK, but in Europe and the Middle East and Africa?
Yeah, so we have obviously great people. We couldn't, you know, support our clients if we didn't, and so we have people on the ground that are very much immersed in that ecosystem of technology companies and in the investors that serve those companies and so on. But as Beth said, I think it's a critical role for the executives in the company to make sure that we are communicating the plans and the timelines and the expectations so that all of the support areas, not just IT, can get a really good grasp of how their contribution to the businesses, really adds up to the end result.